kids, we're going to talk about lesson 4-8, which is on dividing powers. Yesterday we worked on multiplying powers and multiplying variables together. And today we're going to talk about dividing them. So, the rule that we're going to talk about is that when you have powers, like a to the 4th divided by a to the 6th power, then you can find the answer by subtracting the exponents. How is that related to multiplying powers? Look what we did yesterday. We multiplied powers yesterday. How did we find the answer when you're multiplying powers, you guys? How did you find the answer when you're multiplying powers, you guys? Bethany? Right. You added the exponents when you multiply powers. So how is this related? How is this similar but not the same? Come on, people. What do we do when we're dividing powers? It says. Kaden.
Same base.
Same pace. What do you do?
You subtract the exponents.
You subtract the exponents. Yesterday we multiplied and added the exponents. Today we're dividing and subtracting the exponents. So they are related because multiplication and division undo each other. Addition and subtraction undo each other. They're opposite operations. So, the process is to subtract the exponents. And here's why. We already know from when we studied fractions that if you have the number on the top line and the same number on the bottom line, what can you do? Cross them out, right? So a over a is 1. Yep. And so if we have a to the 4th, we have a times a times a times a. And if you have a to the 6th, you have a times a times a times a times a times a. Right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, if we have a over a, for every pair of a's, you can cross them out. And what is left?
0.
Not 0, because each of these is 1. So we have 1 over a to the 2nd power. Right? You can all see that, right? Now, let me show you something. I'm going to blow your mind. Alright? If we did a to the 4th power minus 6, what would you have? A to the what? Negative second power. A to the negative 2. Do you know that you can have negative exponents? Yes, you can. A negative exponent, a to the negative second power, is equal to what, do you think? I already wrote it up there. A to the negative second power is equal to, right, and then work backwards one more step. What's, exactly. Brilliant, Melina. Yeah, these two are equal. A to the negative second power and 1 over a to the 2nd power are equal. Okay? And this is how you prove it. You can write it out, cross them off, and show that 1 over a to the 2nd power is the same as a to the 4th minus 6. A to the negative 2nd power. That's a test question, by the way, so you may want to make note of that, and hopefully you have this in your notes. You're taking notes right now, okay? Here's one with a positive exponent. Let's say you have 7 to the 8th power over 7 to the 2nd power. This is much easier to do on your calculator if you do this first. A to the 8 minus 2 equals 7 to the 6th power. And then put in 7 and then the caret and then 6 equals, and then you can get the answer. Rather than doing 7 to the 8th power divided by 7 to the 2nd power, and then figuring that out, you can subtract the exponents first, and you get the same answer. It's a shortcut, but you get the same answer. Okay? Now, what if you had an example like this? What if you have a to the 3rd over a to the 3rd? It's not a to the 6th, we're dividing now, remember? This is actually 1, isn't it? Yep. What if we subtracted the exponents? What would you get? A to the 3 minus 3 would be a to the what, Jacob? A to the 3 minus 3 would be a to the... No, a to the what? A to the 3 minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So no, it wouldn't be just a, it'd be 1. What I'm trying to show you is that anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay? We talked about that a little bit in previous lessons about exponents. And we talked about that. Any number to the 0 power is 1. And this is why. Because it's the same number of variables on the top line as the bottom line. And so they're all crossed off. And so it's a to the 0 power, or 1. Okay? Any questions on that? So you guys are going to practice simplifying some fractions today. And simplifying powers. So, turn to page 217. That's where your assignment is on. Page 217. So, we're going to do some of the evens. Not all the evens, but a lot of them. Let's start with number 2. See if you can keep up, so that you don't have any homework. H to the 6th power over h to the 2nd power. What does that equal? It equals h to the 6 minus 2, which is h to the 4th. Yep, and now you don't have to write it over 1 because if the denominator is 1, you don't have to write it. Okay? So write this, h to the 6 minus 2, and then write h to the 4th. Does everybody have this one down? Good. If I catch you not writing down everything, then I'm going to assign you double homework for tomorrow. Oh, so don't just nod your head. Actually do the work. All right? Number 4. 10b to the 8th power over 2b to the 6th power. Okay? So, how would we simplify the numbers? Oh, does this mean subtraction? This means division. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5b to the 8 minus 6 which is 5b to the second power. Okay. Number 6. 11 to the 5th over 11 to the 3rd. Come on, people.
11 to the second.
11 to the 5th minus 3, follow the pattern, equals 11 squared, which equals what? 22. 11 times 11? It's not 22. 121. Okay. Number 8. A to the 27th over A to the 19th. Equals, follow the pattern.
8 to the 27th minus 19.
7 minus 19 equals A to the
8th.
8th power. Number 10. Negative 4 to the 0 power. Equals
1.
1. Number 12. 3 to the 0 power. 1. Number 14. Negative 2 to the 4th over negative 2 to the 4th. Equals negative 2 to the 0 power, which equals
1.
1. Why do you have to have the parentheses around negative 2? Yeah, what if we didn't have parentheses around this? Then it would be negative 1. Yep. 16. 2y to the 3rd over 8y to the 3rd. Simplify the numbers. 2 over 8 is
Negative 6.
no,
4.
2. So we can factor out what number? What can we take out of both the 2 and the 8? The 2's, right? How many 2's are in this? 1. How many 2's are in 8? 4. Yep. 1 over 4, right? And what is y to the 3rd over y to the 3rd? 1. So this just cancels out. The answer is what?
1/4.
1/4. Yep. Number 18. M squared over m to the 6th equals
M squared minus 6.
m to the second minus 6 equals m to the no m to the negative 4, which also equals what as a fraction? Yeah. Katie? 1 over. No, what would we do if this is negative? That means we can put the m down here and make it positive, yeah. Over m to the fourth. Alright, so write both of those answers, because m to the negative fourth, if you write it in the denominator, is m to the fourth. Okay? You see there's more m's on the denominator, right? So we could write this as 1 over m to the fourth, or we can subtract it and show that it's m to the negative fourth. Okay? Remember, this is a test question. 20. 100 m to the 100th over 200 m to the 200th. Equals what can we factor out?
You could take out the 100 and 200 and make it 1/2.
Yeah, we can factor out 100 out of each, so it's 1/2. So 1 over 2, and then what? Danny? 1 over 2, and then what can we do with this?
Minus 200.
Okay? So, we could write it this way. Times m to the 100 minus 200, which is m to the negative 100 over 2. Or how could we write that as a positive exponent? So you subtract the exponents, the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. How could we write this answer with a positive exponent? Is this the same?
So the m would be on the denominator.
Right, and then what would be up on the top? The 1, very good. So it'd be 1 over 2m to the 100th power. Okay. Does everybody see that? If we were to take this and move it to the denominator, it makes the exponent positive. Okay? And then, what's on the top line? Just the 1. Does that make sense? Okay. Skip down to number 26. How can we write number 26 without the fraction bar? So we're starting with a squared b to the 4th over a to the 8th power over, times b to the 2nd power. So just like we've been doing, write them all but subtract the exponents. So a to the, what? Minus 8. A to the 2nd minus 8 times b to the 4th minus 2. Right. Always start with the top exponent and subtract the bottom exponent. Then simplify that. What is it? Good. A to the negative 6 times b to the second. Great. Number 28. X
What's that?
times y squared over y to the fourth. Is it what? No, x to the fourth times y to the ninth. Now, write it out that way.
Would the x be a 1? The top x would it be a 1 or?
Yeah. So if there's not a exponent there, then you treat it like a 1. This is x to the first power. What did you write, Andrew?
I wrote x to the negative third power times y to the negative fifth power.
Well, did you write it out this way first?
Yes, I did.
And so what did you write for this?
X to the first minus 4, and then times y to the fourth minus 9.
Good. And then you simplified that to,
X to the negative third power times y to the negative fifth power.
very good. How would you write that with the fraction bar now? Does everybody get that?
A line above it.
Yeah, you would put the line above it, but you've got to rewrite it so that you'd actually put this into the, where? Do you guys get this?
Yeah.
Or do you need a little extra work on this? So what would you do with this then? Tell me. How would you write it without the negative exponents?
X to the third power.
Where would you write it? I should see everybody's hand up. That way I know that you don't need an assignment over break. If you know, please show me that you know, okay? If you don't know, then keep your hand down. Oh boy.
Wow.
All right. Devlin?
X to the third power over y to the second.
Well, they're both the negative.
Negative.
What would you put on the top of the fraction bar? No, we're going to write this without the negatives.
X to
So what would you put on the top of the line? No, because this is, we'd have to write it this into the denominator to make it positive.
oh, X to the third on the bottom.
Yep. And y to the fifth power, and what would we write on the top line? 1. Yep. These are equal, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we can write it with negative exponents, or we can write it as a fraction. Okay? Katie?
For the top part, it's y to the second, not y to the fourth minus 9. It's y second and whatnot.
Oh.
It's -7.
Yeah, negative.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, but.
it's negative, it's 2 minus.
It's 2 minus 9. So this is negative
This is
7.
silly boy.
Good. Yep. So the exponent is 7. Thank you. Any questions on this? Let's see. I want you to do 40 and 42. You need a little more practice on the negative exponents, I can see. So there's only 3 people that knew what to do with that one. So do numbers 40 and 42 before you leave.